I made this comparison test over the weekend with sensor wire plugged in and sensor wire unplugged, just to see if there's a difference in speed with the speed control that I have. Okay, so basically what I did was I tested the PN motor with that speed control and the sensor wire plugged in. Then after that, I unplug it, run it, plug it back in, run it, unplug it. Okay, I put censored, that's when the sensor wire is plugged in. Sensorless is that's when the sensor wire is unplugged. The layout is 2 weeks old, so I'm very familiar with the layout. I've already done 2,400 laps on that layout. The first test I did was on a battery that's charged overnight. I did 39 laps. The fast lap I did was 8.15. That's with the sensor plugged in. Next run was on a charged battery overnight. I did 20 laps. Fast lap 8.33. Sensorless, wires unplugged. Okay, that's the gap. Here I said that maybe the battery here is just no longer that good compared to this one. So I ran the car again. This time I plugged the sensor back in. Using the same battery, I did 11 laps. The fast lap was 8.24. Okay, again, same battery, number 2 battery. 20 laps, 11 laps. Sensorless, the sensor unplugged, 8.3. The sensor plugged in, 8.24. Okay, so I'm just gonna mark it here that the sensor is faster for this first test right there. And then next run is I put the unplug the sensor cable, sensor wire, charge battery. I did 19 laps. Fast lap is 8.21. The sensorless, okay. And then using the same battery, I did 37 laps. The fastest lap I can do is 8.33. This is censored. So here, I don't want to put that the sensorless was faster because it's not fair. This was new battery, right? So I'm not going to do the test on that. I stopped here actually because I needed to put new rear tires in the back. This whole test here, the back tires were semi-slicks. So I put a brand new tires in the back. Not brand new, but it already had 40 laps in, so it's still new, okay? It's just not brand new. Basically, it's broken in. I put the sensor back in, sensor wire back in. I did 31 laps on a new charged battery. Fast lap was 8.11, which is the fastest lap of the day. After that, I put a new charged battery and I unplugged the sensor wire. I did 24 laps. Fast lap was 8.22. Okay? 8.22 compared to that. So this test right here, sensor wire wins. And then I did another test using the same battery, but this time I plugged the sensor wire back in to compare with this. 16 laps, used number 5 battery. Fast lap I can do is 8.26. The sensorless is 8.22. Brand new, but look at the gap, okay? 8.26, 8.22, sensorless. So I'm going to put that there. It won't, even though this is a used battery, okay? Used battery after 24 runs with censored, it's pretty fast, right? For the censored setup. Okay, now next, I still used the same battery. I used it 3 times. This time I did 26 laps, sensorless. I unplugged the wires and did 8.20. Okay, so this one, sensorless. All right. Again, on the third run, okay, fast lap, 8.2 from these three, 8.2 with the sensor wires unplugged. Okay, now next, charge battery. I did 18 laps and I hit the fastest lap of the day at 8.09 with sensorless. Because after this, I said, man, let me try a new battery with the wires unplugged. And I hit the fastest lap, beat the 8.11, did it with 8.09, and that's the sensorless, okay? Now I did run it again with the used number 6 battery, but this time censored. I plugged the sensor wire back in. I did 8.18, but this is not a comparison. I just wanted to see, okay? So obviously this is, here the battery was already dying, right? So it's a 10th off, but I just wanted to see. But now this new battery, sensorless, I'm gonna compare it with the new battery that's censored, okay? Number 7 battery, new battery. I did 23 laps. Again, this is sensor, and that's the fast lap I did, okay? So fast lap, censored, 3. But forget about the scoring, okay? Because look at this. 8.09 with the sensor unplugged, and then 8.0906 with the sensor wire plugged in. New battery, new charge. And now look, you know, it's 300 of a second off, but at this point, the hundredths of a second, couple of hundreds, for me, that's the same, okay? So this is not the first time I'm seeing this result, because I've done this test 4 times already. This is the 4th time that I'm doing this test, that I did this test. I did it 2 years ago, I did it last year, and then beginning of this year. I just never wrote it down. I know that it's the same. I just wanted to do it again so I can write it down and make a video so I can always go back later on in the future, you know, with this speed control, that it is the same, okay? So whether you put the sensor wire plugged in or run it without the sensor wire, this, at least for the speed control, the lap times is the same, okay? I mean, if you're being technical, right? Then the sensor plugged in is faster, right? Even the whole time, look, the censored 815, censored again 811, right? If I stopped here, it's the fastest lap. If I stopped here, it's the fastest lap, the censored. Okay, so but honestly, the feel, it feels the same on the track. I mean, I'm gonna talk about in detail a little bit, but the speed, you know, to me it feels the same. And the track layout was this 22 by 14, full throttle from here, lift on this side. So full throttle here on 2500 motor. Okay, with my test 2 years ago and then last year and beginning of the year, the sweeper was from here straight away all the way down here, and this is 2500. This whole thing full throttle. I remember our track layout 2 years ago was 25 tiles bigger, and then the rest of the test was at 20 tiles, so it's 2 tiles shorter, right? But the results are the same. Both sensor wire plugged in or sensor wire unplugged, lap times are the same. There is no difference. So I don't understand, you know, that if you unplug the sensor wire, it's supposed to be faster. I never felt it, okay? I never felt that it's faster. It always felt the same for me. However, on the track, in the beginning, I really thought that the sensor wire was a lot faster. When I switched over to another new set, it dropped significantly, and I at that point I said that the sensorless was this much slower. So I run it again with the censored, and it's 8.2, And at this point, I knew that it was just the battery that I was running. This battery was better than this, probably, okay? It feels the same on the track. I can't tell the difference unless I'm backing up, I'm reversing the car, or I'm trying to park in slow motion. At crawling speed, it's smoother with the wires. But from dead stop, taking off, and the entire race without the sensor wire, with the sensor wire, I can't tell the difference. There's no cogging with this speed control. Okay, if you remove this sensor wire and you're running the speed control, there's no cogging. Unfortunately, you can't buy this speed control anymore, and I don't know of any other speed control where you can run sensorless and sensored motor. The only one I know is this. I've tried the NHX speed control, and this doesn't work if you remove the sensor wires. It doesn't work. The Hobby Wing, I also have a Hobby Wing, and that doesn't work either. I mean, maybe it works for you, but for me, it doesn't work because I'm comparing it with this speed control. This speed control like works. It doesn't cog forever, you know, like stuttering for like a second. It doesn't do that. Yes, there's cogging, but it's not, you know, like cogging for a second. Maybe it cogs for like 1,000 of a second, and then it's full throttle. Especially if you hit the full throttle, it's just gonna go. The Hobby Wing, when you hit the full throttle, it stutters for a little bit, and then it'll go, right? Some of them, they don't even go. You just keep stuttering. This speed control, it doesn't. When you hit the full throttle, it just goes. However, if you're, you know, finessing the throttle, then you can feel the beginning 10% of the throttle. Then you can feel that stutter, like that. It makes that stuttering sound. But other than that, racing, I can't feel the difference. So again, for me, with this speed control, there's no performance gain if you remove the wires. If you're wondering why am I not running the sensor wire, then it's only because this thing is so annoying. Look, even if it's a longer wires, I have to wrap it around the motor wires or run it somewhere when I don't really need to use it. You know what I mean? If it has benefits, then I would totally run it. I have to. But there's no benefits for me because I never put my trigger to the 10%, you know, like trying to park in slow, you know, I don't. So there's no use for me. And that's the reason why I'm not running it with the sensor wire, not because it's faster, okay? I tried to get another speed control to where I won't have to run this because it's just messy. Look at how I have to put the battery. After the run, this is probably down. I have to lift it up, okay, and reroute the wires here. Look at, you know what I mean? I just don't like the wires there at all. So all my cars up to 3,500, I don't use that. Not because it's faster, okay? Again, same thing, same speed, same lap times. There's no difference in performance, okay? Okay, thanks.